Hello and welcome to another episode of my MotoGP 20 career mode, and here we are in MotoGP, and this time we'll be doing the first race of the season at Qatar. But first of all, of course, we've got to advance to that and deal with any notifications that come our way. So we'll advance forward to week 8. So we've got a personal manager notification, a new candidate available for the personal manager once again. Obviously the bug is still there where we just keep getting given the same person, but they do have different stats every time, so it's not a massive problem, I suppose. Not actually, they do look a little bit better on the, well, they're better on the negotiation front, but they give us a lot less money, and they're also better at finding the contracts. But now that we're in MotoGP, I'm only after really just getting more credits from the paychecks so I can get better staff elsewhere. So this week then we've got a notification on the chief engineer. So another A rank applying, and once again, quite a dip in the money, but also the stats are a lot worse. Look how much engine synergy we lose, so much. I'll refuse him, definitely, for sure. It's much better now that I've given him a name, compared to just non-underscore name. Obviously, it's unfortunate he still hasn't got a picture, but it's better than having no name and no picture, I suppose. So we'll advance forward once again. That should take us to Qatar. Yes, it does. So this season I'm going to be doing things slightly differently. So if we look at the race options, then still everything is the same, except the race length, which is now up to 35%, because I want the race to be a bit longer, and I'm only going to be doing one race per episode. We'll see how that goes, and then maybe I'll look the race length maybe for the next season again. I'm not too sure yet. I just want to see how things go in MotoGP, of course, because it's completely different to Moto2 and Moto3. You know, it's a Premier class, so I wanted to do something a bit different for it. But that's what I'm going with anyway. For this first season, that's what I'm going with. 35% races and one race per episode, but it might change in the future for future seasons. So then, with nothing else to do, we'll head into Qatar then. And I'm not planning on doing any free practice, so any R&D. Obviously there's 4 pre-practice sessions in this category compared to 3 in the others, but I think I might just go straight to qualifying. So then we're here in Qatar for qualifying 1. I thought I may as well go through qualifying instead of bothering to do free practice, because either way I just have to set a lap. So then if we have a look at who's actually in this session with us then, so Jack Miller is in this session, that's quite surprising. Nakagami, Mir, Bagnaia, Paulo Spagro, Jean Zarco, Miguel Oliveira, Tito Rabat, Iker Lecuona, Alex Marquez, Bradley Smith, Brad Binder, and then obviously myself there in 13th. Top 2 go through from this session, although I'm sure you all know that anyway. But just in case you didn't, that's how it works. Top 2 go up from the MotoGP Q1 into Q2. So we've got to try and be in that top 2 if we can. So we'll head out onto the track now then and do a flying lap. So we brake for the last corner, big stoppie going in. Wow, I made a pretty big mistake of that. First corner we do on this bike today, and I made a massive mistake. The bike wheeling quite a bit. So I'm hoping this season will be a good one. This is how I'm going to do the qualifying every time, just try and go through both Q1 and Q2. So that means you'll probably get to see 2 qualifying laps sometimes. We go into the first corner then. Probably not the best braking zone there. I think I braked a little early, but then the stoppie did kick in, so it did push us a bit wider than it would have done otherwise. So it's a good job that we did go a little bit conservative. AI are usually pretty good here at Qatar, if I'm honest, so if we don't get a very good result in this episode, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be terrible for the whole season. Obviously, I've still got to get used to the bike, but we're 2 tenths off in this first sector, so not looking good for us so far. Through turn 5 then. Someone behind us is definitely catching. I've got the wrong traction control setting on, I've just realised as well. I was in traction control 4 when really I wanted to be on 2. So that's what I was running in the tests. So we've run a little bit wide on the exit of that corner there. I'm hoping we can try and bring back some of this time that we're down on whoever's in first currently. So we're still 2 tenths off, so at least we're sort of even through that sector. Gone off the track massively there. Good job we didn't lose our lap, but it was a pretty big mistake. The AI don't seem to be as quick through this sector, but they are pretty good through the last sector, I think I remember. So coming through turn 11 then. Flicking the bike over into the first of the triple rights. We've got it so hot. The bike does not want to stop or turn. This has been an atrocious lap. We'll definitely have to go for another one after this. So we're 4 tenths off now. So we're nowhere near going into Q2 at this rate. We're going to definitely have to come out for a second run. Into turn 15 then. So we go into the final turn. Turn 16. Trying to pick up the bike, slide it through. Big wheelie then as we're coming up towards the line. Under the Sail International Circuit sign. What's the time going to be? 1:53.8, which actually puts us second, but it is right at the beginning of the session, so I'm guessing that no one's really set a quick lap yet, other than obviously who's on pole. So we'll head into the pits then, we'll fast forward a few minutes, and I'll go out again for another attempt, because obviously I don't think that's going to get us through. So with around 5 minutes left to go in the session then, we are currently 6/10 away from Jack Miller's fastest time in Q1. And Nakagami is only 29 thousandths off that, so we just need to improve by 6/10 really to get through into Q2. It's always going to be difficult when you've got riders like Miller and Nakagami in here. Obviously they've got pretty good equipment, so it's definitely we're a little bit of a disadvantage there compared to them. So 53.2 is really nothing to ride home about. It's just obviously that lap we did was absolutely awful, so I'll get my head down, probably do one without talking, and then see what kind of time we get from that. Right, so we're currently red through the first sector by almost 2/10, so obviously we improved massively. We did brake way too early on the first lap, and then still, didn't really do it right. The front started to go into 6th there. That's definitely going to affect our lap time a little bit. 31 thousandths underneath the time then. Now we're 3/10 away, so it looks like we're going to struggle to get through here. This bike does not turn great, so we are going to definitely be far off. We might not actually hit the qualifying objective that the team wanted from us as well. Should be a shame. Out the last corner, then up towards the line. We actually did the last sector pretty well. I don't think it's going to be enough to salvage anything though. 53.2 is the time to beat what we're doing. 52, 53.3, 93 thousandths off. Unfortunately, that's not quite close enough. It's 3rd place. I'll see if I can pull anything together. Into the last corner, and then this bike really just doesn't want to turn anywhere through the lap. The 3rd sector is the worst because we actually have the pace through the others, but I just can't get it turned through those triple rights, and we lose so much time. So coming towards the line then, are we going to be able to do anything about it? 53.278. Yes! We just managed it at the death there to get through into Q2, so 12 thousandths away from Jack Miller. We just managed to beat Nakagami's time by a few thousandths of a second there, so that'd be really unfortunate if you were Takaki there. So did any of our other teammates get through? No, Oliveira and Lequona obviously didn't get through, obviously because it's only me and Miller, but I couldn't remember if they were actually in the session or not. So we are the top out of our team. We've got guaranteed 12th place now, I think it is, isn't it? So, yeah, so we should get that qualification goal, the 4th row, because even if we're 12th, we're at the back of the 4th row. So we've managed to meet the qualification goal for the first race so far, but we've still got Q2 to go, so can we better this 12th position? So then we're here in Q2, which, to be honest, at the start of that previous session, I did not expect we'd ever be here. We'll put on a new set of softs. Luckily, we've got plenty of soft tyres. Obviously, without doing the practice programs, we've got more to burn. So we've got 3 sets to use in this race, because I don't think I'll be using softs. Well, I might actually use a soft front in the race, so I do not want to use this last soft front here. But we did do that fastest lap on a set of slightly worn tyres, and obviously we've still got this set as well from Q1, which aren't too bad. The one that we did 1 lap on, they're still pretty decent. So we'll put it down into 4 laps of fuel, and we'll head out once again, and we'll be out with the big boys this time. So we're coming towards the line then to start our lap here in Q2. Oh, the bike really... Of course, we've crashed on our first lap in Q2. Fantastic. So we'll try this one again then. It's still not telling me who's on pole, apparently. There's only 5 minutes left, so someone's definitely set a time at this point, and if they've not, then we've got a shot at pole. So about to start the lap. I'm not sure whether I'll show the whole thing or not, just because we've already done quite a few laps here in qualifying. So we go into this first corner, turn 1. We've gone in pretty hot, but I'm trailing that brake quite a bit. Obviously, you've got to really push this bike. Obviously, trail braking is how you want to ride these MotoGP bikes, and this bike in particular does not want to turn. It's got it's very rigid, it must be said. The chassis is extremely rigid. So I'll look at the time in the first sector then. So we're 3 tenths down on first place, so it's not great, although they are the fastest guys in GP, so I suppose we wouldn't be mixing with them on a KTM at first. Half a second down now through this sector to turn 9. 8 tenths down. Wow, we are really far off. I don't know what kind of times they can actually do, because I've never really raced them at this track, but I'm guessing they can probably get in the 52s. That's probably why we're so far down. We've gone a little bit wide that last corner. Luckily, we don't lose our lap for that as we go into the last corner then. Gone a little bit hot once again. The rear tyre is actually much hotter than the front, which was a bit the opposite in Q1. So as the run up towards the line then. 150, 151, 152, 153.5. So that puts us 10th place for now. I don't think we're going to be able to better that, but I'll give it a go. Coming down into the last corner, then got to watch that front tyre because obviously it loves to tuck on this KTM as we slide out the last corner. Then we managed to get some power mode 2 right at the end of the lap, but the rest of it's been in 0, so it's actually not been a bad lap to be personal best. So we're coming towards the line then. This will be our last lap in qualifying, 53.2, so that puts us 7th, and we've just run out of fuel there, so that's going to be us done for this session. So we have to head back to the pits. Well, it's not going to give us a choice, the bike is totally out of fuel, so we'll be back in the pits in a second. And we'll see where that puts us right at the end of the session. Hopefully it's still 7th, because that would be a fantastic place on the grid in our debut on this KTM. So at the end of the session then, it was good enough for 8th, not 7th. So I can't be too annoyed about that, it's not the end of the world. Marc Marquez on pole then, ahead of Andrea Dovizioso in 2nd, and Fabio Quartararo in 3rd. So it seems like Quartararo has been given a bit of a buff since the game came out then. Rins 4th, Vinales 5th, and Rossi 6th. So Quartararo quite a bit faster than the factory counterparts there. Crutchlow in 7th, so we're not top Brit unfortunately, but pretty close. We beat Smith anyway. Aleix Espargaro in 9th, doing pretty well on the Aprilia, so KTM and Aprilia not doing too bad here. Morbidelli down in 10th place, so we actually out-qualified a Yamaha in our first session, but only just. Jack Miller 11th, and 12th place for Petrucci. Petrucci 12th on the factory Ducati, being out-qualified by Miller and an Aprilia and a KTM. Wow. Yeah, it's not a good start for him, but we'll head down to the grid now, and we'll see what we can do in the race. So we're down here on the grid then. It was just shown us Marquez, now it's shown us Dovi. You can see we've got the Mission Winnow Ducati team along with the Mission Winnow skin. I forgot to put the hat on, but I have actually made a hat for them so it doesn't say Ducati on the front anymore. Fabio Quartararo then in 3rd place on the grid, so a pretty good performance on the Petronas Yamaha there. But I am quite excited for this race. I don't know how we're going to do. Like our maximum pace on like a flat out lap without talking is like this position 8th. So I feel like if anything we might go backwards in this race. So we might not actually end up 8th, we might end up outside the top 10. But our goal of course is 15th for the race. That is what the team have set us. Which is weird, obviously in this career mode we've been pretty used to putting it on pole and be battling for the win at least. And then I think my worst finish was like 9th and I was like really disappointed with that. But obviously we're in MotoGP now, we're on the worst bike in the game. I think that's how it is anyway. I think the Tech 3 KTM is the worst bike. Obviously I did that on purpose because I wanted to make it a interesting season. It's first race of course, but I have seen that I'm definitely going to need some upgrades. Although I do have the pace sort of in the sectors where the bike doesn't need to turn too badly. So there might be some tracks where we're actually really, really fast and then other tracks where we're really, really slow. Just because the bike really doesn't want to turn into the corners, especially those triple right-handers. So then we'll get this race started. Hopefully we won't have any contact because that will lead to wing loss and that will be massively bad. We saw how bad it was in the test when we didn't even lose the wing, how much time I was losing. So yeah, this could definitely be interesting. So Marquez on the pole then, Dovi alongside Quartararo finishing off the front row there. So we're waiting for the lights to go out here at Qatar. Lights on, away we go, and our first MotoGP race starts off here in career mode. Big wheelie off the line, so it's almost like Moto2 at the start there. Miller's had a great start, he's pulled alongside us. Crutchlow has just weaved into Vinales as we go into the first corner. Then I've gone in a bit wide. That's allowed Miller to get back through on the power here. There's been a crash behind, Brad Binder's down. Rossi now being overtaken by Jack Miller on the outside there. I think Bagnaia is trying to come at the inside there. So we've been relegated to 9th place, but can we try and get back through or put the power back down to power mode 1? We're looking for the outside move on Miller here. We've gone past Miller, hitting the brakes. We're back up into 8th place, and now it's Valentino Rossi. Although Miller's still on the inside. Rossi's gone wide. Rossi's gone off the track entirely there. Is that going to allow Miller to get the inside of him? I think so. And here comes Mir. Mir's just past us, but we're back past Mir. We're back up the inside of Miller. Are we going to stop it before we hit Rossi? Yes, we are. I thought we were going to hit into the back of Valentino. Then that's really a rider you don't want to be hitting, especially in your first MotoGP race. So up into 8th place once again, where we started. We're looking for a move on Rossi here. And Miller almost tags our rear end. So this first lap has been pretty entertaining so far. We're closing up on Rossi through turn 9. On the power, we're going to have a move into turn 10 on the inside of the Doctor. Not quite. Trying to slide the rear end. Trying to get underneath him, but we can't quite. Obviously that Yamaha a little bit better than what we've got, but he's not had a very good start, it must be said. Rins is probably not had the best start either, down in 6th place. So we go towards the triple rights. Obviously this is where we're struggling the most around the whole circuit, although we don't seem to be losing too much time here in the race. Also we've got 8 laps to try and get to grips with the bike. Oh, we've run a bit wide there. So we go towards the final corner, then we're looking for an outside move on Rossi again. Don't know why I keep going for the outside on everybody, but through the last corner I can get on the power nice and early. I've got a much better line than Valentino. We've got the slipstream on him. There we go, side by side with the Doctor. We're past Rossi there, so we're up into 7th place, and we've got the slipstream on Rins as well. This is where we've got the advantage in qualifying this last sector, and there we go, past Rins, up into 6th place, so 6th place at the start of the second lap. Maverick Vinales on the other factory Yamaha up next, so we're already beating 2 Yamahas. Will it be 3 shortly? I don't know, but obviously Crutchler's had a great start up to 4th place. Here comes Rins back up the inside. Rins obviously not wanting to concede the position to us yet, but around the outside he goes. He's not going to be able to do that. Obviously the first sector is where we're losing quite a bit of time to the AI, a couple tenths of a second, 1.2 seconds behind Vinales. I think we can kiss that 5th place goodbye. We're not going to get a chance of that. I can't see myself reeling him in. To be honest, Rins almost hits us at the back there, and we've got a big train behind us. We're going to definitely be holding up these guys. So as we start the 3rd lap then, Marquez doing a 54.1. We've just done a 54.2, so we're only 2 tenths off. Obviously the AI's race pace does seem considerably slower. That actually might play into our favour, because we actually are catching up to Maverick Vinales here. So as we come through the last corner then, Vinales actually seems to be struggling to me. We have actually made quite a bit of inroads on him on this lap, and we're in the slipstream. We might actually blast past him, just like we did with Rossi. There we go, flying past the Yamaha. That Yamaha has no straight line speed at all. So we're up to 5th position now. Fastest lap of the race for me as well, 53.8. So we could potentially have a go at this podium. It's only lap 4 right now, and there's still plenty of time left for us to catch and pass Crutchlow and catch and pass Quartararo. But it looks like to me, Marquez and Dovizioso are getting away at the front. Catching right up to Crutchlow and Quartararo now. We're all over the back of Cal. So Cal obviously had a fantastic start because he only started right in front of us, and he's up to 4th place. I'm now up to 5th, but Cal did it on the first lap, of course. But we're looking to take that top Brit spot here in our first race in MotoGP. Here we go then, through the last corner. Once again, we've got a better exit. The AI take it totally wrong, and it costs them so much in the slipstream of Cal Crutchlow. Then we're flying. Oh, we're trying to fly past him. We've passed Crutchlow there. We're going to go past Quartararo as well. So we go towards the first corner, 54.0 then on that lap. And we've hit into 3rd position now. Oh, and Quartararo's actually hit into us. So we've got off the circuit there. So it's a bit like what Mick Doohan tends to do to us quite a bit there in the historic challenges. So we're back down into 4th position. So we're going to have to go on an attack of Quartararo, but he did just bash us out. Oh, and Crutchlow as well. So actually just smacked us out the way. So that's cost us quite a lot of time there. Vinales will be all over us if we're not careful. So here we go then in the slipstream, getting ready to start the 6th lap of 8. We're pretty marginal on fuel. I'm going to have to definitely go into power mode 0 at some point. But we've caught back up to the back of Crutchlow and Quartararo now after our collisions with the pair of them. Quite how we don't have any damage, I do not know. To be fair, Cal Crutchlow's move was just sort of more, I didn't see him and I turned in. Quartararo obviously just hit us at the back, but he probably just misjudged how early I was going to brake, because obviously my bike is not so good. Not as good as the M1, of course. So I think Vinales has been caught by Rins behind now, so we might have to watch out that Rins might be coming on the charge. He might be trying to overtake us in a few laps' time, although there's only a couple laps to go. And it looks like Dovizioso is actually catching up to Marquez here, so that could be quite interesting to end the race. So here we are then, we're all over the back of Cal Crutchlow. We're going to be looking for a move into this next corner. At the inside of Crutchlow we go. Oh, he's almost hit us at the back there as we go into there. That's going to allow Crutchlow to get the cut back the bike wheelies. Crutchlow's back through once again, so Quartararo gets a little bit further in front. But look, we couldn't quite get past Cal there as we go into the triple right, so this is where we're struggling. Our front tyre has been freezing this entire race as well. I just can't get the heat through it. Otherwise I'd be able to push a little bit more in some of these corners. Probably would have been able to make that move stick there. Crutchlow going off the track a little bit there, but Vinales is all over the back of me now, so I think we might have actually lost the opportunity to get Quartararo in this race now because of that move. So I've gone into power mode 0 then, because we are pretty marginal on fuel. We're half a second behind Cal as we start the penultimate lap, so I think potentially our podium chances are gone now, but we could maybe get 4th place on Crutchlow still. So as we start the final lap then, we're a second behind Crutchlow now. I don't think we've got any chance at catching him either, so it looks like 5th place is going to be, as long as obviously we don't get overtaken by Vinales or Rins behind us. So as we come through the last quarter then now, yes, we couldn't quite catch Crutchlow, and Vinales couldn't quite catch us, and Rins couldn't quite catch Vinales either. So as we're coming towards the line, we're going to have to go power mode 0 again. And it's going to be 5th place in our first race here in MotoGP, a fantastic result for the Tech 3 KTM team. So then, as the AI typically do, they did their extreme fastest laps on the last lap, as you can see. Obviously, Rossi doing a 52.6, same with Miller, although those guys were absolutely nowhere near us the entire race. They were not like over a second a lap faster than Marquez and Dovi. So my fastest lap was the actual fastest lap of the race, I think. No one actually beat it until the last lap, and the last lap simulations seem to be wrong quite often. So we'll have a look then. Brad Binder obviously retired after his crash at the first corner. Nakagami ended up 22nd, so after we knocked him out of stopped him from getting into Q2. His weekend didn't really get any better. Aleix Espargaro qualified. I'm sure Aleix Espargaro started behind me, and he's ended up 21st, so a very, very disappointing result then. Me and Crutchlow both moving forward, but him going backwards, it seems. Bradley Smith managing to beat his teammate there. Oliveira down in 16th place. Where was Lecuona? So Lecuona must have been a bit higher up then. Where was Lecuona? Was 10th. Well done to Lecuona. Wow. Okay, Ike Lecuona managed to get 10th place. He managed to beat Danilo Petrucci on the mission winner Ducati and Franco Morbidelli there. So Ike Lecuona gets some decent points there along with me. But we managed to beat both factory Yamahas in that race, so that's definitely something to be happy about. And it's Qatar, which is probably one of the AI's better tracks. Definitely was in Moto 2 anyway. They cleared off at the front. It's a shame. I'm not sure if we picked up any damage from the contact we'd had with Crutchlow and Quartararo. I think it's just more that it was just the thing where the AI speed up right at the end of the race. And obviously, just at that time, I'd had that attack on Crutchlow, of course, which cost me quite a bit of time in that. I could never really catch him up again. Once the tyres were gone, I couldn't gain quite as much through the last corner as I was before. I couldn't brake as late and power out as early. So, yeah, but we managed to get 5th place, so pretty decent result at the end of it there. It would have been nice to have got the podium. We were in 3rd, obviously, at one point in the race, but we did get hit by Quartararo. Obviously, Riders' Championship is exactly the same as the race result, so we'll head straight onto the Teams Championship. So in the Teams Championship then, Repsol Honda team lead by 3 points ahead of mission winner Ducati in 2nd. Petronas Yamaha actually ahead of the Monster Yamaha team because obviously of Quartararo's pretty good performance. He obviously got the 16 points. Morbidelli got 4, which makes 20 then. So Monster Energy Yamaha only 1 point ahead of us actually, because we obviously have 17 points because I got quite a few and then Lecuona got some as well. So moving on to the Constructors Championship then, obviously Honda lead with 25 points, Ducati 5 points back with 20, and then Yamaha got 16, because obviously there's 3 different manufacturers on the podium, which is actually nice and diverse there. 4th for ourselves, KTM then. 5th for Suzuki, and Aprilia scoring 0 points, of course, because both of their riders were outside of the points. So we'll go have a look at that crash for Brad Binder, and then we'll head into the career hub, because obviously we've not got any cutscenes to watch, because we didn't get on the podium. So on board with Binder into the first corner. He's just riding around the corner, and he just gets clipped there by Nakagami, who looks like he'd just come from off track. So we'll have a look at Nakagami's point of view. So on board with Nakagami then towards the first corner. He's going into the first corner. Morbidelli's going a bit wide. Oh, he just sits up for no reason, smacks Morbidelli wide, and then just rejoins the circuit, clips Brad Binder there. His body seems to glitch a little bit there. And then someone else running wide. Oh, Aleix. That's why Aleix dropped down the order so much. He ran wide, so that would make sense, I suppose. If we look at this, then a very, very careless move, really, from Nakagami there. Just turns straight in on poor old Binder. Binder straight down. That's him out of... Well, would it be his first MotoGP race? Because obviously he's technically been in MotoGP the whole time we've been in Moto2 and Moto3. But yeah, if that was what happened in the real life 2020 race, if it did go ahead, he would not be very happy, I will tell you that. So then on the reputation front, we don't actually gain very much. We only gain 7,750, which I think is less than we were gaining in Moto2. Which you think makes no sense considering we were running so high on a KTM, but I suppose these things happen. So that takes us up to 292,200 reputation points. At least on the credits we gained a fair amount then. We've gained 32,863 credits. That's plenty of credits there then. So then we've got a couple of notifications. One for the personal manager, a new candidate available again, so a slightly worse person. So again, I'm going to refuse that. We've got some really, really good stuff at this point in time. We've got another data analyst applying, so another A grade. I'd like to have some better ones to apply, to be honest. That's where we'll end this episode then. So I hope you did enjoy that. I really did. That was a really fun race, I must say, because obviously for me, it's more fun because the bike was really bad. Like, to put it bluntly, it would not turn into those triple rights, so I was having to make up the time everywhere else around the lap. So I was having to push so hard to catch up, then also having to balance that without losing the front, because obviously that was something I was really struggling with. So the front then got cold because I wasn't pushing it, so that I couldn't push it. It was a fun race. I hope you did enjoy that one. There were some pretty good battles as well there with obviously Crutchlow and Quartararo. I'm not too bothered about the contact, I mean, especially the one with Crutchlow, to be honest. That was just because I didn't see him on the inside. Obviously Quartararo probably just got surprised by how much I slowed up in the middle of the corner and just clipped me, clipped my rear. I probably should have stayed on the track. I probably should have sort of just tried to straighten up and then get on the power, but I tried to just get back on the power and get out of his way so that he wouldn't hit me again or anything like that, but that's probably a mistake. But first race, Qatar. The AI are usually pretty good at Qatar. Obviously next is Texas, I believe, isn't it? So we might be able to actually get a very good result there. I'm thinking podium or perhaps a win just because of how bad the AI are at Kota. But to be honest, this bike does not turn, so it might be dreadful through the first sector, which is obviously where you gain most of the time. And obviously last year in Moto2 we got absolutely destroyed at Kota, so you can't always bet on Kota being an easy track. but hopefully it will be. So like I said, I hope you did enjoy that video. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next video.